what is diversity. So you are noted diversity, it is a kind of variety in a different things, right? So what do I mean by biodiversity? It means variety in a living things basically. So it can be वैरायटी लाइक कुछ भी हो सकता है. इट कैन बी लाइक बेस्ड ऑन कि उनका एक्सटर्नल अपीयरेंस कैसे है, उनका साइज क्या है. सो वी कैन वी नो देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ प्लांट्स, देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एनिमल्स. If I go by size, then there are microscopic organism, there are macroscopic organism. All these things actually contribute to the diversity. It gives us variations, right? And this all contributes towards the biodiversity जो हम लोग देखते हैं surrounding us, right? So there are multiple reasons that the particular individuals are showing biodiversity, or we can observe a large number of like different species around us. So Q, why do we see this kind of diversity? Even if you see a typical example of a cow, so a cow from a Maharashtra differs from the cow from a Gujarat, from that of let's say Rajasthan. Why? No, it's not like कि difference मतलब कि एक को चार पाए एक को छह पाए. Not like that, right? But then some characters are different from that of the cow which we observe in Maharashtra. Why? Because there are different environmental conditions. So जो we can say जो environment महाराष्ट्र में है, like let's say with respect to the temperature or any other climatic condition, it's not exactly same in Gujarat or Rajasthan. And this environmental factor, or you can say climatic change, actually leads to different variations. Why? Because the organisms or the animals which are staying in that particular area needs to have a adapt to the particular environment. जब तक वो खुद को वहाँ पे अडेप्ट नहीं करेगा, it will not be able to survive and flourish, right? That's why adaptation is an important key, and these adaptations actually leads to the diversity. It can be different. It can be like even within the same species, it can be genes में difference हो सकता है, या फिर some special characters it is developing, या फिर anything. But it will lead to a kind of diversity among the organisms, and that's how it is called, and that's why it is called as a biodiversity. Okay, I hope it is you all are clear with this. Yeah, okay. After that, we had started like knowing, if you remember, कि कैसे चालू होता है process. So we had seen, okay, there are different types of ecosystem also. Aquatic is there, marine is there, and all of these are actually showing a lot of variation, varieties, and we can say biodiversity. And then we know what biodiversity we are observing now, or we can see around us now. ये कहाँ से चालू हुआ था? It is actually a result of the Big Bang theory, which was happened at even like around 3 billion years ago. तो तब जो हुआ था उसका रिजल्ट हम लोग को अभी दिख रहा है. लाइक इट इज अ वेरी स्लो प्रोसेस. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि ऐसे आज कुछ तो चेंज हुआ तो कल बहुत कुछ चेंज, मतलब इफ देयर इज सम प्रॉब्लम टुडे देन टुमारो देयर विल बी 100 different species will come. ऐसा नहीं होता, right? It's a slow and process. It will take time. It will take to modify and adapt to the new environment, and that's why it will take it will and that's how it will lead to different variations within a species, or uh, in within different species. Okay, so if I want to divide it, or we can say classify this particular biodiversity, then I can do it at the three levels. Okay, then I can say there are three ways in which I can uh, classify this particular biodiversity. So if you all remember, there are three levels, namely genetic diversity, species diversity, and the ecosystem diversity. So now, who will tell me what is genetic diversity?
एक ही स्पेसी के जो इंडिविजुअल्स है उनके बीच जेनेटिक कॉम्पोजिशन जो अलग अलग रहता है वो.
Yeah, so that's correct. Genetic diversity matlab it's mainly observed within the species. So it is intra-species specific diversity. मतलब एक ही species में observe किया जा सकता है. And it can be differences within the genes. So we all know it's not like the पूरा का पूरा genome of everyone is same. No, there are different differences in like types of genes which are expressing. कुछ जगहों पे dominant allele हो सकता है, कुछ में recessive हो सकता है, कुछ जगहों में codominant हो सकता है. So but these all actually differences. Like it's not like कि अगर मेरे पास पॉपुलेशन ऑफ 100 है तो सबके सब एक जैसे ही रहेंगे जेनेटिकली. नो, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड एज जेनेटिक डाइवर्सिटी. इफ यू रिमेंबर हम लोग ने एग्जांपल देखा था अबाउट द रावल फेयर. इट इज बेसिकली प्लांट जो एक कैटाबोलाइट बनाता है, उसका नाम था रेस्पायरिन. सो इफ यू रिमेंबर व्हाट इज द फंक्शन ऑफ दिस रेस्पायरिन, किस काम का है ये यूज करते हैं? Okay, so it is actually a metabolite produced by this particular plant known as Rovalfia, and इसका काम रहता है कि to reduce the blood pressure. So it is generally used in the treatment of blood pressure. So the example I am giving here because there it the plant which is actually growing in a Himalayas are actually very good source of this particular uh, secondary product, that is the respirant. But if you go at different places like Gujarat or any other places, even the plant is same. It is the same species, but the amount of this particular metabolite which is produced is not that high. मतलब इतना efficiently वो produce नहीं Hello. Yeah. Sorry, there was some network issues. Okay. So हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे about the species diversity. So yeah, tell me what is species diversity or what do you mean by species diversity? और क्या differences है between the species and the genetic diversity? Anyone? Apart from now, no Saurabh, कोई और?
जेनेटिक डाइवर्सिटी मतलब एक ही स्पीशीज के ऑर्गेनिजम्स के बीच में होता है, और स्पीशीज मतलब अलग अलग स्पीशीज ऑफ ऑर्गेनिजम्स के बीच।
Yes. So basically, when I talk about species diversity, it is mainly like I'm dealing with the richness of a species and its number. It's not just like कि अलग अलग species present है. Yes, that is a key factor. कि कितने सारे species present है. Obviously, that is a key factor. But there are two important keys in this particular topic, we can say, or in this particular concept, that it will talk about two important points like स्पीसीज रिचनेस, मतलब एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में कितनी डिफरेंट स्पीसीज प्रेजेंट है एंड कितने नंबर में प्रेजेंट है, इवन दैट विल मैटर, राइट? एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड एज स्पीसीज डाइवर्सिटी. And the third and the last type of the biodiversity is the ecosystem diversity. So I think you all can uh, like relate with the name itself. जो नाम देख के बोल सकते हो कि what does it mean? It means diversity with a specific ecosystem type. तो अगर कोई भी geographical area है, let's say there is a particular geographical area in on earth, so there are possibility, there is always possibility that कि वहाँ पे बहुत सारे different types of species हो सकते हैं, like ecosystem हो सकते हैं. So let's say there can be a desert, there can be a grassland or typical forest or anything, right? And depending on कि वहाँ पे कौन से type का ecosystem है, the species and the different types of organisms which are present in that particular area will also differ, right? And this will lead to the ecosystem diversity. So it is types of ecosystem on a earth, right? So this is called as a species diversity. So itna हमने किया था in a last lecture, and now I will begin in today's lecture. Okay, before going I will go from a PDF file only, but abhi ke liye I just want to let you all know two important things basically. So now we had just seen the types of biodiversity. अभी हम लोग देखेंगे पैटर्न्स ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी, मतलब वो कैसे वेरी होता है, व्हाट आर डिफरेंट वी कैन से फॉर्मेट्स इट्स शोइंग टू अस. तो वो अगर मैं यहाँ पे हूँ तो विद हाइट वो कम होगा, लाइक इफ आई गो एट डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम पर्टिकुलर सी लेवल तो वहां से वो कितना कम होगा, ज्यादा होगा, एंड ऑल दैट थिंग बेसिकली. सो हाउ द biodiversity varies with respect to different geographical factors, we can say. Okay, so the very first point is a latitudinal and a altitudinal gradient. Okay, we will discuss what is latitudinal and altitudinal, but before that I want you all to know what is latitude and what is longitude. I think सबने geography में ये सब पढ़ा होगा, तो just the revision basically. So whenever I say latitude, basically this is something. This both latitude and longitude are not something वो ऐसे exist करता है. It is both are the imaginary concept, right? So what do I mean by latitude? Latitude is basically these are the imaginary lines which are giving us like geographical constitutes, which will give me measure of like south to north kind of poles के बीच में कितना difference है, kind of that kind of information can be given. So these particular lines are actually present parallel to the equator. So you can see in a first image, right? जो बीच में dark and bold line है, that is the equator. Or if you can see the blue and the red line, these are all the giving me the latitude thing. So basically at the equator the latitude will be 0 degrees Celsius. And as we go up or down from the particular like equator point, it will increase or decrease, right? And in case of that is called as altitude. So at the pole, basically it is 90 degrees Celsius, and at the equator it is 0 degrees Celsius. Same. Now if I want to go for a longitudinal, so you can see यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा था, इक्वेटर को पैरेलल था, but in this case the lines are actually passing through the equator. So you can see यहाँ पे जो lines parallel थी, यहाँ पे वो like it is actually connecting the two poles, north and south, right? So these particular lines are called as a longitude. Okay, and now we will see how this latitude or longitude will affect the biodiversity. Okay, so I will just share a PDF now, but I hope you understood what is latitude and what is longitude. Okay, so now let's see how this particular latitude or let's say altitude affects the biodiversity. The very first point is the latitudinal and the altitudinal gradients. Okay, almost all the diversity like biodiversity almost all in all the conditions, this particular latitudinal and altitudinal gradients are observed, except some arid and semi-arid areas, or we can say some aquatic habitat. Okay, तो यहाँ पे ये differences इतना clearly नहीं दिखता है हमें. So now what does actually happen at the latitudinal point? It means if I go from the equator to the pole, डाइवर्सिटी कम होगा या ज्यादा होगा, स्पीशीज रिचनेस विल बी वेरी हाई और वेरी लो. व्हाट डू यू थिंक कि क्या होगा?
सर किधर से किधर वापस बताऊंगा?
इफ आई एम गोइंग फ्रॉम अ इक्वेटर टू द पोल, तो डाइवर्सिटी कम होते जाएगा या बढ़ते जाएगा?
कम होते जाएगा.
यस, सो इट्स वेरी सिंपल, राइट? इक्वेटर पे लाइक वी कैन सी दैट ट्रॉपिकल एरियाज एंड टेम्परेट एरियाज आर वेरी मच स्टेबल एज कम्पेयर टू द पोलर रीजन. पोलर रीजन वहाँ पे कभी पानी होता है, कभी लाइक देयर आर ग्लेशियर्स फॉर्मेशन, सो इट इज नॉट दैट स्टेबल. देयर आर सो मेनी डिस्टर्बेंसेस एट द पोलर रीजन, बट वो ऐसे डिस्टर्बेंसेस नहीं होते हैं एट द इक्वेटर लेवल, एंड दैट्स व्हाई दिस पर्टिकुलर डाइवर्सिटी वेरीज कि वो ट्रॉपिकल एरियाज में, टेम्परेट एरिया में बहुत ज़्यादा होंगे, बिकॉज द स्पीशीज आर वेरी स्टेबल इन द पर्टिकुलर एरिया. हाउएवर, as we go from the equator towards pole, there will be decrease in a diversity. Okay, or we can say it will keep on like declining. Okay, so uh, why this diversity, why the equator pe it is very stable and why it is not that stable at polar region? So there are some factors, right? Stability किसके वजह से हो सकता है? Because at the equator points there is a lesser climatic changes, there are a good enough amount of water and the sunlight, and all these points are actually factors are actually something जिसके वजह से species can survive and flourish, and there can be the process of speciation. Now what do I mean by speciation? Let's say there is a one particular population, so from one particular population different types of species can be formed. So we know there is some ancestor, and ancestor से बहुत सारे species बनते जाते हैं आगे, right? So all these species process of speciation will be basically favored when there are stable conditions with respect to the climate or the availability of water and the sunlight. Okay, so these are some basic requirements in a particular ecosystem, right? But then if you go towards the polar region, as I mentioned, there is a periodic glacier formations, or there are drastic changes in the temperature also. So it's very chilled at the polar region, right? It's not as normal as we are having here. So even all these conditions will kind of interrupt, or we can say interfere and indices the disturbances in our system, and that's why the species are not that stable in this particular region. So if I want a particular species to be stable, or we can say I want कि मतलब particular area में बहुत सारे species हो जाए, मतलब there should be good enough number of the species, then what I'm supposed to do, I have to have a proper conditions in, let's say, the environmental factors here. So climatic conditions should be stable, good enough sunlight, water, and like all possible environmental factors जो कोई भी species को survive करने के लिए important है, right? So now, what are the factors? So there is one point I mentioned here. Okay, there are disturbances in a polar region, and then such a stability over a millions of years might have favored a speciation. Yeah, so as we all know, so what is now speciation? Now, lesser migration in the tropics might have reduced gene flow between the geographically isolated regions and favored the speciation. Now, what is gene flow? So basically, what they are trying to say here is that there is a transfer of a genetic material from one population to the another. So it can be different. Like, so it means कि अगर कोई population यहाँ से वहाँ जा रहा है या फिर it is staying together, there are high chances that some genes may get transferred from the one species to the another. So it may happen that it like the species transfer will happen within a same species, sorry, the gene transfer will happen within a same species, but by reproduction, like they will do a mating and then the genes will get transferred. So this is something called as vertical gene transfer. What do I mean by vertical gene transfer? So what do I mean by vertical gene transfer? Gene transfer, it is generally occurs within a species. However, this gene flow, or we can say a transfer of genetic material, can also happen in a different species, and that is called as a horizontal gene transfer. So it may happen by, like, there are different, if you know bacterial species. So bacteria have a plasmid, right? So the plasmid can be act as a mode of the transfer of genetic material. So it can be released by one species, it can be taken up by the another species. So ऐसा सब हो सकता है. So that is called as a horizontal gene transfer. So I hope you understood the meaning of the vertical and a horizontal gene transfer. And as I mentioned, scientists have given this particular fact that कि जहाँ पे भी बहुत अच्छा कंडीशन रहेगा वहाँ पे ज़्यादा स्पीसीज रिचनेस होगा, राइट? एंड विच इज आई थिंक बट ऑब्वियस, राइट? कहीं पे भी अगर अच्छा खासा कंडीशन है तो किसी को भी रहना पसंद होगा, बट अगर किसी कहीं पे कंडीशन ही बहुत क्रिटिकल है, इज नॉट दैट फेवरेबल, तो ऑब्वियसली there will be reluctance, or we can say hesitation, from a particular species to colonize over there. So these are very common points. So obviously, as we know, tropical areas में there is a less climatic condition, like climatic changes, it is stable, and also the availability of the food and water is abundance. And what else the one need for survival? Food, water, and shelter. अगर उनके पास वो सब कुछ है properly available, then they will obviously flourish in a particular area. And one of the such example is like most of the tropical plants are like a fruit bearing plants. So this is very good for animals which are like dependent on fruits for their food. And these particular plants are like available throughout the years. So in such area, अगर बहुत सारे plants ऐसे हैं जो fruit bearing plants हैं and they are giving me fruits throughout the year, so obviously in this particular area, the number of the, or we can say the variety of the different animals जो dependent है on the fruits, so such animals are called as a frugivorous animal because they are dependent on the fruits. So obviously their number will be high as compared to those of the other areas. So I will keep on talking about the tropical, temperate, and polar regions basically. So what do I mean by? I think सबको geography थोड़ा याद होगा. So you know what is tropic? Tropic is like something जो कि इक्वेटर के पोजीशन पे होगा, that is a tropical area. तो उसके ऊपर हो जाओगे तो इट इज अ सब ट्रॉपिक. टेम्परेट इज अ एरिया जहाँ पे टेम्परेचर इज अ मॉडरेट. व्हाट डू द वर्ड टेम्परेट मीन? कि मॉडरेट, मतलब वहाँ पे ना एकदम हार्श कंडीशन है ना एकदम मतलब बहुत कम है ना बहुत ज्यादा है. इट इज मॉडरेटली मेडलेट, एवरेज कंडीशन है सब जगह पे with respect to temperature mainly. So that is called as temperate. And the polar is something that is all at the two opposite ends of the earth जहाँ पे बहुत सारा ice and all होता है, like snowfall and all is a major thing, glacial formations, and there are no like ऐसा बहुत सारा we can say diversity with respect to the plants and all. So very limited because जो कोई भी वहाँ पे survive कर सकता है या फिर we can say the only the animals or the plants which can adapt to such a high such a low temperature can survive at such places. Okay. So in short अगर मुझे आपस बोलना है, so I will again repeat the same point जो मैंने जहाँ से मैंने start किया था, that the species diversity or we can say richness of the plants and animals decreases as it move from the equator to the poles. Okay. And the best example is like the Amazon rainforest, which is present in a tropical area जहाँ पे a large variety of plants, birds, mammals, and different and other species is there. Okay, so you can see the number: 40,000 different plants, 1,300 different birds, 427 different mammals, and there are other 3,000 species which are not even like clearly mentioned कि क्या क्या है, but then the number is really very high. And I think everyone must have heard about the Amazon rainforest. Like most of the Hollywood movies, they keep on talking about it. So that's something that we observe with respect to the latitude. Now, if I want to observe something with respect to the altitude, what do I mean by altitude now? Altitude matlab changes which I am observing with respect to the height. Like the level from the like this height from the sea level kitna hai? वो लिखा रहता है, right? So this is basically a mean sea level we can consider. And what does it talk about? कितना डिस्टेंस है और कितना हाइट पे पर्टिकुलर या particular area is. So it will tell us that as we move from a one particular point, like जैसे हम ऊपर ऊपर जाते जाएंगे, then there will be differences in a species variety and even the ecosystem like climate. There will be some environmental factors also like climate, temperature and all. So it will also vary. So basically जैसे जैसे हम लोग altitude के साथ जाएंगे, what is altitude? It is basically in a normal simple words you can say it is a height. तो height के साथ जैसे जैसे हम लोग जाएंगे, then there will be then there will be less kind of diversity we can say. तो number भी कम होता जाएगा जैसे जैसे हम लोग जाएंगे. So at a normal conditions, at a normal height, it will be there will be very rich species diversity. But जैसे जैसे हम लोग ऊपर जाएंगे, because there will be changes in our climatic conditions and even the with seasonal variations also there will be some kind of differences observed. So it will not really favor a very high species richness. Okay, and that's why it will lead to the decrease in a species diversity with respect to altitude. So in a conclusion, I can say the species diversity decreases with the altitude. Same goes for the latitude. Okay? At a tropical region, generally it is very good and high and stable. But जैसे जैसे हम लोग ऊपर जाएंगे towards polar region, it will decrease. And if I go with respect to the height also, at the normal height, it is like, or we can say at a low altitude, obviously there will be high species diversity. But as we go from the low altitude to the high altitude region, obviously it will affect the species diversity. Why? Because it will there will be some kind of climatic conditions that will change, or temperature will not be stable, or multiple other factors also play important role as we go from a altitude or the high altitude. Okay, I hope you understood how the species diversity varies with the altitude and the latitude pattern. Is it clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah, great. So basically, see, I'm talking a lot, but I think you got the key concept कि तुम्हें क्या याद रखना है कि altitude के साथ क्या difference हो रहा है और latitude के साथ क्या difference हो रहा है. Okay, I'm trying to give different examples and like talking a lot maybe, but then try to extract the key concept. You have to try to highlight it whenever you are doing or whenever I'm talking. So तुम लोग को याद रहेगा कि क्या पढ़ना है और कैसे पढ़ना है. Now the important second point is species area relationship. So when I talk about the pattern of biodiversity, as I mentioned, there are two important things. सबसे पहला था latitude and altitude based gradients, and now the second one is the species area relationship. I think this is the very important relationship जो scientists ने establish किया है, and which is actually makes sense. Now why is it making sense to me? Because definitely there is a very good relation between the species and the area in which it is staying. Now, area here I'm not really concerned about a typical ecosystem as such, but the size of a area basically. What they are trying to convey is the number of a species in a particular, like which are present in a particular geographical point is actually proportional to the area. मतलब जितना ज़्यादा नंबर ऑफ सीरीज रहेगा उतना बड़ा उसके लिए उतना ही बड़ा एरिया भी लगेगा. तो ये एक्चुअली मेक सेंस, राइट? बिकॉज अगर मुझे बोलना है कि कोई भी एरिया में अगर बहुत ज़्यादा डाइवर्सिटी है तो उनको वो पर्टिकुलर डाइवर्स लाइक उनको अगर मुझे वहाँ पे रखना है तो इवन आई हैव टू प्रोवाइड देम प्रॉपर एरिया. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि मैं छोटे से एरिया में डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ 1000 टाइप्स ऑफ एनिमल्स रख सकता हूँ. नो, आई हैव टू मेंटेन अ प्रॉपर एरिया एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट factor. So what they have actually initially claimed that they are directly proportional, like the species, the number and the area are directly proportional. So with this concept, what I can say कि जैसे जैसे नंबर बढ़ेगा एरिया भी बढ़ेगा, which sounds good. Like okay, जितना ज़्यादा नंबर होगा उतना ज़्यादा एरिया बढ़ेगा बिकॉज उतना ज़्यादा स्पेस चाहिए उनको. However, it will not stand true in all the conditions. मतलब you can't say that there will be indefinitely increase in the area if there is an indefinitely increase in the number of species. First thing, it will not keep on increasing at like इतना higher rate पे. Second thing कि अगर ऐसा like even though a particular species or a particular geographical area is showing a large number of species variations, it will not like that the relation will not always true hold because hold true because uh, मतलब after a particular point it has to stop, right? So we can say, so it was actually proposed by the naturalist उनका नाम था Alexander von Humboldt. Okay, he is a scientist actually who proposed the relation between the area and the species richness. And what he claimed that yeah, it is okay, there is obviously a relationship between the area and the species, but it is not like it will always increase. Yes, there will be increase in a species richness, will increase in the area, but only up to a limit. Beyond that limit, there will be no increase observed. Okay, and this is an important point which he has pointed out, and I think that's very important and true because it's an indefinite increase will not be possible under any cases, right? Sorry. Now he tried to put up the graph. Okay, he was just trying to put it in a form of a graph, and this is the graph he was trying to study. So this is the species richness and this is the area. And you can see the curve now. So what does it mean? कि जैसे जैसे एरिया बढ़ रहा है the species richness will also increase. However, if you see, now the graph has gone like horizontal, matlab it has reached a steady point जहाँ पे the species is not no more increasing even if the area is increasing. So there will be a steady, like it will not increase beyond the particular point, but वो एक constant, we can say a steady system रहेगा, steady and a stable system.
सर आपकी आवाज ब्रेक हो रही है.
Yeah, by the equation S is equal to CS square. So this curve or this particular thing is called as a rectangular hyperbola. So तुम लोगों ने वो सब मैथ्स में पढ़ा रहेगा. Hyperbola, parabola, and there are so many other things also. Is basically considered as a rectangular hyperbola. Okay, just for that. Actually, so I was discussing about the graph which was showing us the species and area relationship, और मैंने बोला कि the graph is actually a curve, is actually a rectangular hyperbola, and the equation if you see it is S is equal to C square. Now what is S here? It is a species richness. What is A here? It is a area, and then there is something called as C and a Z. Okay, C actually gives the number of individuals which are present in a particular area, or if you consider a unit specific area, basically in a 1 square feet में कितना होगा, and kind of that kind of relation. But C is more of giving us a number of individuals in a particular area, and there is something called as Z. You can see. So Z is actually giving me the dependency. Now, what do I mean by dependency? I hope I'm audible, right? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so मैं बोला था about Z. Now, what is Z? Z actually tells me the dependency. मतलब how a particular factor, like how the area and the species are interdependent. So it will give me the dependency of a species richness on a typical factor of area. मतलब कैसे वो दूसरे पे डिपेंडेंट है. So let's say a small example, small area, small species richness, large area, large species richness. ये जो conditions है और ये जो factors I'm talking, that is actually given by the factor Z, basically जिसको हम लोग बोल रहे थे. You can now tell me S is equal to CA, let's see, into A raised to Z. तो बट दिस इज अ कर्व, एंड ना जब भी हम लोग कर्व को स्टडी करते हैं ना, देयर आर वेरी हाई चांसेस कि हम लोग को एरर्स मिल जाए, बिकॉज कर्व को स्टडी करना इट्स नॉट दैट इजी. तो व्हाट जनरली वी डू, वी जनरली प्रेफर टू लिनियराइज द कर्व, कि हम लोग उसको एक लिनियर लाइन में कन्वर्ट करें सो दैट इट विल बी इजी फॉर अस टू स्टडी, because the curve ka slope and all lena is not that easy. Okay, and there are always chances of getting an error. So we prefer to do a linearization. How we do that? By taking a log of each. So now if I want to take a log of like SCAZ, S is equal to S to Z. So now I hope you all know how to convert the equation into logarithmic form. So I will take a log of both the sides. So since there is a multiplication, so log s is equal to log c plus z into log of a. Here log of c is actually considered as a slope of a line. So if you can just compare this equation, it is same as y is equal to mx plus c. इक्वेशन सब लोगों ने पढ़ा है. तो यहाँ पे y is what is y? This is a log and mx is a z and a log. I am really helpless, but still just give me a minute. I will try. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So I hope now I'm audible, and I hope I will be audible for at least next 10 minutes. तो हम लोग इक्वेशन डिस्कस कर रहे थे and where I was talking about the equation log of s is equal to log of c plus z log of a, and I was telling you that the s is basically species richness, c is basically the y-intercept, and what it tells me the number of individuals. Basically z is basically slope of a line, and it gives me dependency that कि कैसे area पे dependent है species richness, and log of a is basically the a basically will tell me the information about the area, right? So from this I can actually find out कि पर्टिकुलर एरिया में कितना स्पीसीज रिचनेस हो सकता है and all. So this kind of studies can be done based on this particular equation, and this is considered as one of the important thing in a field of like environmental. So which was given by the Van Humboldt, right? So now the example which I had given you, the same. For the smaller areas, the value of the Z will range from the 0.1 to 0.2. No matter ki kaun se species under study and what. But because small area will have a small value of Z, it will tell me it will have a small species richness. However, as the value increases, the slope like जैसे slope बढ़ेगा, there will be a sharp changes. So it will indicate that there is a large area and number of species if there is a large value of the slope. तो अगर स्लोप का वैल्यू कम है, इट मीन्स कि एरिया भी छोटा है एंड देयर विल बी लेस नंबर ऑफ स्पीशीज और नंबर ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स प्रेजेंट. अगर स्लोप का वैल्यू ज्यादा है, then it will tell me कि there will be large area, it will give me number of species will also large, and the species will be explored more fastly as compared to the small area. So that's give me the small like concept of species area relationship. अब इसमें मुझे याद क्या रखना है, what is the key point here? Yes, there is a relationship between the species diversity and the size of the habitat. The number of species present is always proportional to the area. However, it's not like it will always be proportional. So yes, there will be increase in the number of species richness with the increase in the area, but up to a particular limit. So if we plot a graph of a species richness versus a area, we get a curve which actually follows the rectangular hyperbola. Then we got the equation of a hyperbola is the s is equal to c a raised to z. वहाँ पे s क्या था, स्पीसीज रिचनेस था, a क्या था, एरिया था, and what was z? It was actually giving me the dependency of the species richness on a area. So as I mentioned, it is not that easy to study the curve, and that's why we need to linearize the curve. तो हमने क्या किया, हमने उसका log लिया and then we plotted it again, and then we got a equation in a form of in a logarithmic form, and the curve which was then converted into the straight line. फिर उस स्ट्रेट लाइन का हम लोग स्लोप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं, एंड फ्रॉम द स्लोप वी कैन टॉक कि वहाँ का एरिया एंड स्पेसिस रिचनेस कैसे रिलेटेड है. अगर स्लोप का वैल्यू कम रहेगा तो ऑब्वियसली द नंबर ऑफ स्पेसिस विल बी लेस. अगर स्लोप का वैल्यू ज्यादा रहेगा तो ऑब्वियसली द नंबर ऑफ स्पेसिस विल बी मोर. सो आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड द स्पेसिस एंड एरिया रिलेशनशिप का कंसेप्ट. एनी डाउट टिल नाउ? हेलो.
Yes, sir.
सो क्लियर? समझू मैं और आगे बढ़ू?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So now the next point. So now what we studied till now. First thing, intro part about the biodiversity और उसका definition क्या होता है and all. Then we started with the levels of biodiversity. हम देखा कि how it varies with respect to the like genetic constitution, species variety, and the ecosystem. And then we studied the patterns of biodiversity, especially in terms of the latitudinal and altitudinal gradients, followed by the species area relationship. Now, as we are talking a lot about the diversity and the species, so I think you all must agree that each and every species जो है यहाँ पे वो क्यों एग्जिस्ट करता है. लाइक यू हैव टू थिंक ना, मतलब क्यों चाहिए ना हमें. तो इफ यू रिमेम्बर, मैंने एक स्टोरी बताया था अबाउट द हनी बीज, कि अगर हनी बीज कंप्लीटली extinct हो गए from the world, it will not take more than 10 years for the human species to get extincted. मतलब अगर वो लोग निकल गए तो हम लोग को भी मरने के लिए भी बड़ा टाइम नहीं क्या लगेगा. सेम इफ यू रिमेम्बर वन मोर एग्जांपल मैंने दिया था अबाउट द चाइना का, अबाउट द स्पैरोज. आई होप यू ऑल लिसन टू द स्टोरीज एंड यू keep them in a mind. These are very interesting facts basically. So they just removed a one sparrow from their area, and then they faced such a major problems in their country. इतना बड़ा प्रॉब्लम्स उन्होंने फेस किया कि दे हैड टू लिटरली import the sparrows from the other areas. हाँ, हमें sparrows दो, हम लोग उसको कल्टिवेट करेंगे. And now they are cultivating them, like they are nurturing them in their area so that the sparrows will help them. So I think this examples what they are telling us. This example tells us that it is very important to understand the role of each and every species in the environment. जो भी कुछ हमारे आजू बाजू में है, हमें दिख रहा है, डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली इट इज लिंक टू अस. वो अपने को और हम उसको किसी ना किसी वे में हेल्प कर रहे हैं. सम इट इट इज नॉट ऑलवेज अ डायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप, एंड दैट्स व्हाई हम लोग को इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. We are like and that is a one important reason behind the human attitude, I should say, or I can say ego, that we are the best kind of thing, and then we generally mess up everything at the end basically. So what the entire point of saying all these things is like, जो भी species यहाँ पे, each of them is having some important role in the environment, and they actually are required to maintain the balance of a particular system. But what if a particular species just get completely extinct from the world? मतलब कहीं पे भी नहीं है. Let's say example of China, उन्होंने स्पैरो को completely निकाल दिया था, but at least there were sparrows from the other areas of the world, and that's why they could take it from the other area. They realized their mistake and then they did whatever they wanted to do. However, let's imagine that a particular species is getting extinct from the world. So what will be the effect? कि हम लोग को directly कुछ problem होगा या नहीं होगा? तुम लोग को क्या लगता है? how will it matter if a particular species is getting extinct? What do I mean by extinct? मतलब completely lost. There will be not even a single individual of the particular species surviving on Earth. ऐसे कंडीशन को हम लोग बोलते हैं एक्सटेंट. देयर आर मल्टीपल डिफरेंट एनिमल्स एंड प्लांट्स जो ऑलरेडी एक्सटेंट है ऑन अर्थ. सो टेल मी वन एग्जांपल जो इंडिया में एक्सटेंट है, वेरी कॉमन एग्जांपल कि जो पहले इंडिया में था बट अभी नहीं है. एनिमल्स. Any one animal? It's very common and important example. Cheetah. Now we don't have cheetah in India, right? We
Yes,
used to
sir.
have it. Yeah?
Dodo.
Yeah, dodo is another example. वो तो completely extended. But I was talking about India. So yeah, dodo is there, cheetah is there. There are multiple different animals जो अभी नहीं है यहाँ पे, because they lost the entire species because of some natural problems or let's say some human interference. So that's what we will be studying in the next lecture. How a particular species is important in a environment. अगर कोई एक स्पीसीज भी उड़ गया तो will it matter? अगर कोई स्पीसीज नहीं मतलब ऐड हुआ तो will it matter? So how the balance is maintained? So that we will be studying in the next area or next topic basically. And then we will start about the current scenario about the biodiversity कि इंडिया में कितने स्पीसीज है, वर्ल्ड में कितने स्पीसीज है, उसमें से कितने एम्फीबियंस है, कितने प्लांट्स है, कितने क्या है, वो सब हम लोग देखेंगे. अब मोर ऑफ theoretical part. And उसके बाद in the next lecture we will start about the loss of biodiversity. So I expect you all to read a bit and come in the next class. I will try to keep a revision for a 10 minutes starting का, and then we will continue. But I hope तुम लोग को समझ रहा है जितना यहाँ तक किया है. There are no doubts as such. And if you feel नहीं समझ रहा है या फिर you need something more or you need more clarity about any topic, please let me know at that point only. Okay, so don't hesitate, ask me whatever you want to ask. There is no hesitation at all. So I hope abhi tak kuch doubts you all are not having. If you are having, you can ask a doubt. If not, then we will stop here.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
So others also please keep on